Hello again, and welcome back to Adventures in Book Hunting. It's been well over a month since my last video. I just wanted to give a quick channel update, let folks know what was going on. Um, I spent the first 2 weeks in November just very, very ill. I had an acute attack of pancreatitis, and the worst of it was over in a few days, but the recovery on this one was a little longer than usual for me. Unfortunately, I have these attacks every once in a while, off and on over the last 6 years. But in any event, that kind of distracted me, shall we say, from making any videos in the first part of the month. And then I was playing catch up personally and professionally for the rest of the month. And I didn't want to let a whole lot more time go by with at least touching base. So, like I said, this is just a quick update to let you know I'm still alive and kicking. Um, and like I say, just talk about a couple things I want to do in the near future on the channel. First off, October was a great month for book hunting. There were lots of library sale events and other events that I got to go to hunt a multitude of very good books. And of course, I didn't do much hunting when I was under the weather. And afterwards, it seemed like I hit a slow spot. And I don't think I have anything extraordinarily interesting to report over the basically for the month of November. Um, but there are some things I want to talk about that are coming up. First off, I made a short about a book that my granddaughter recommended to me, and it's this Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albion, or Album. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Um, and this was a book that she had to read as part of her school curriculum. We had a discussion about books we were required to read in school and what we thought about those books, and were there any of those books that we were really glad that they made us read. And I told her a few of mine, and she really sang the praises of this book. And I understand why, particularly uh, for the experience for a teenager reading this book. Um, Condenses a lot of wisdom and a lot of empathy about life and death. Um, I certainly wholeheartedly approve that this is in anyone's high school curriculum. But in any event, I'm just about finished reading it. Unfortunately, that same granddaughter lives several hours away now, so I don't get to see her as often as I'd like, and we didn't have a chance to do a video together. But I asked her if she would do a video just talking about this book, reviewing it, and just the two of us discussing what we thought about the book. Um, and as soon as I can figure out the technology, which I'm told will not be difficult, I'm going to try and get her on a Zoom call, and we're going to do that very thing, even though we have to do it remotely. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, Next off, the Hatter Bookshop, which I have mentioned many times over the last several months. They formed a book club, and the book club will meet for the first time in mid-January. And the first selection of the book club is Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This, of course, is the copy that my friends at the store and some other friends gave me for my last birthday in September. And I did, I think, both a short and a long form video about this book and Lewis Carroll in general. But anyway, I've got to get hopping. I read Alice in Wonderland, decades ago. I'm pretty sure I was still in high school when I read it. So, like I say, that's a few decades gone, but I'm looking forward to reading it again. And like I say, this will be my first time in a book club with a group with a live discussion, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've done plenty of buddy reads where I'm reading a book with a friend um, at the same time um, and experiencing it that way. This will be a new thing for me, and if I can remember, I will leave a link to the book club Facebook page down below, case there's anybody who's interested in following. Um, I have another project that I'm working on. A few weeks ago, I found a set of Mark Twain books um, that are, oh goodness, 100 and they're like over 110 years old. I'm working on doing a little restoration project with those books, and so when that's complete, I'm going to do a video about that little experiment, how it went, and show you the books after my efforts at restoration. Um, in any event, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. Uh, and finally, I'm going to start a new feature on the channel where I talk about and review books that I read in the 1980s. My high school years took up the first half of that decade, and my college years took up the second half of that decade. And that was the time period where I was reading more books than I have ever done before or since. Um, they're I tell people in those days there were, I was reading about a book a day, and there were stretches where that was probably the truth. Although I don't know that I literally was reading a book a day for a year, but I know there were years there, high school, and particularly in my college years, where I was certainly reading over 200 books in a year. And the thought is I'm going to take books that I and my peers were reading back in that time frame and rereading some of those books, and then just giving you my candid thoughts and review what I thought about these books then and what I think about them now. Are these books that stood the test of time? Do I have a changed view of these books? And I think that might be interesting. Um, and I've been going through a list of books I want to do, and they're going to be somewhat wide ranging, let's say. It'll be fairly eclectic. There's going to be a lot of fantasy and a lot of science fiction because that's a lot of what I was reading in those days, but also a lot of nonfiction, some religious themed books, um, historical things, those sorts of things. But anyway, that's another plan I have before too long. So look for the cool kids from the 80s read. That's how I'll mark each of those episodes. Um, and finally, I had a very successful book hunting experience or experiences the last week. And as soon as I'm finished here, I'm going to splice in a short clip of the books that I've gathered over the last week that are going to the Hatter Bookstore. And I will try and remember to put in a link to the store's main Facebook page, um, so that if you see anything you like, you can reach out to them. They will certainly, sell a book, and I'm sure they'll have to charge you some shipping fees, cover their postage and shipping. But they'd be more than willing to get any of those books to you, even if you aren't local and have access to the Hatter Bookshop. I think that's about all now. So without further ado, I'm gonna briefly show you what I hunted the last week, uh, with the exception of a couple, three books that I kept for myself. There was a penguin in there, and you guys know, if you've followed the channel, you know by now, um, those things are irresistible to me. But in any event, here it is. These are the books I found in the last week, and once again, give the bookstore a few days to process and price them. But by Monday of next week, they should all be available for sale, assuming they take them all. And I'm thinking they get there by now. They're trusting my taste and suggestions on books for the inventory. But we will see. In any event, thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. And I hope to be talking to you on a more regular basis, hopefully, like it was, about once every week or so. In any event, take care, and I will talk to you again soon. Just wanted to give you a quick look at what I'm bringing to the Hatter Bookshop today. And as is typical, it's a very varied, eclectic kind of collection. Starting with like fantastic YA, some Rick Riordan books,
true crime, uh, children's fiction. Everybody likes Redwall. Um, Amish romance. Some old school fiction for young people. Judy Blume. Some self-published mystery fiction by actually an established author. There's a Neil Gaiman. Down here we've got a biography of Tesla, ancient Japanese military strategy, historical documents, local author, or at least author with local interest, Jeanette Walls. Another volume in the ongoing saga, to complete Danielle Steele's catalog. More fiction for young people, including one of my favorite editions, if not favorite editions, of the Narnia books. That is the HarperCollins Deluxe Edition with colored illustrations. A video game tie-in. Into the Wild. John Krakauer. Always a good read. YA. Some of the, Fault in Our Stars, one of those principal books. If you've read YA at all, you've got to read The Fault in Our Stars. One of the Song of Ice and Fire books. In the news today, one of Pete Hegseth's books, who may or may not be our next Secretary of Defense. Time will tell. Movie tie-in, more YA, but with a Christmas theme. This was an interesting book, Unique America. It's about roadside attractions across America. Lots of illustrations, photographs. Really neat looking book. Collection of writings about the end times, both religious and secular. A couple of books in the Maze Runner series, and Cassandra Clare, and finally a Dr. Seuss that I had not heard of. But in any event, these are all books that will be going to the Hatter Bookshop today. If you're interested in any of these, give them a couple days. It'll probably be Monday before they're processed, priced, and out for sale. But in any event, if it's something you want and you have access to the Hatter Bookshop in Princeton, West Virginia, these will be available. And if you're not local to the area, they have a Facebook page. I'm sure you can message them on Facebook and order any of this stuff that you see here. But like I said, just give them a few days to process and price everything. Anyway, that's about all. Thank you guys for persisting with me, and I'll talk to you again soon.